We've been around for almost a decade now. So in the beginning, I didn't see quite as many interesting combinations of materials and techniques as we do now. Just the general openness more to trying different things, trying different ways of accomplishing what you want in your work. And fiber is a great place to do that. People are so supportive and so excited to talk with each other about the different techniques and fibers and their work. Absolutely. No doubt. And a lot of that, I think I credit to the younger generations of fine craft artists and artists, because they are much less concerned about what techniques or what the method is for accomplishing their work and making stunning work. And I think that has helped curators, directors, exhibition planners free themselves from trying to pigeonhole work and instead just look at the pieces of artwork on their own merits. So I've seen a lot more shows that combine mediums in the Fiber Art Network / Fiber Art Now, working on developing exhibitions with other organizations that include fiber and, for example, fiber and wood or fiber and ceramics. In the last few years, since we added this Fiber Art Network, which gives more member benefits and that kind of thing, so it's not simply a quarterly magazine, we've developed exhibitions. They started with simply submissions that were juried. We'd find jurors we thought our artists would really respect to kind of frame the work we were hoping to have submitted. And then those would just become spreads in the magazine, etc., and help, we'd give extra promotions to all of those artists online and all of that. But then now they've become actual exhibitions. So far they've only been in the US, but all museum exhibitions, and we've got more coming up. And also there's the Craft in America Center. It's really well respected, and it's won a Peabody Award for ongoing public TV series all about fine craft. And they have a gallery in Los Angeles. And so our latest Excellence in Fibers, which is our biggest annual submission, showed there. Coming up, we have Muskegon Museum in Muskegon, Michigan, which is in the central part of the US. So that's exciting too. I mean, several museums, very well respected, are very open to fine craft and contemporary fiber art and textiles. Textile people are engaged and they show up. I hate to be Pollyanna, but yes, absolutely. One of the really wonderful things about fiber arts and textiles is that almost anyone can come in and find a way to engage with the work. I curated an exhibition on Cape Cod. It was all about rope and all the ways we live and work and create with rope. So I combined knot tying with rope sculptures and all kinds of things like that. And you just wouldn't believe how people were touched by the work. There was a huge knot wall of which were not only nautical knots, also just every different kinds of knots, And people were standing like 3 deep trying to look at the knots. We also had a large rope installation, and it just helped people, I think, to see the craftsmanship that they really embody, because there they were, along with all of the art on the walls. Getting your work out to different places, Instagram is a huge world. So while we're looking around on Instagram, the bottom line is, if they come to us and they submit to us or somehow partner with us, that's going to mean that we're going to turn around and then show their work to over 100,000 followers across socials. Also, we always go to our submitted work, whether it was even selected or not. We have all that work. And what I do is, I'll just tell you behind the scenes, once a submission is finished, we pull off all of those images and I put them into a Dropbox, and then I go back to those always. Just because the jurors we chose for that particular submission didn't select that work for the magazine, for that issue, or for the exhibition, doesn't mean that our editorial team doesn't want it in the magazine. But Instagram, we love Instagram. Every weekend we have a takeover. So from Friday to Sunday, either an artist or one of our partner organizations takes over our Instagram account and just puts everything that's interesting to them in it. And that also kind of feeds us, because you get someone's new ideas. Excellence in Fibers is this big annual submission we have. And the first couple of years, I think we got almost no felting submissions. And That really bothered me because felting is a huge community and a really engaged community, and they're all making stunning, interesting, compelling work, right? But then I started thinking about the other fibers that I just never see, you know? I don't want to say I never see, but I didn't see them submitting. And it doesn't mean everyone should submit to exhibitions, but I'm just saying it helps me understand what fibers we are receiving. I want to see more of all of them, because then that gives us the chance to share them with the public more. So I feel like getting people to take that chance to submit to Excellence in Fibers, it's a launching pad for us to break that off and maybe give it its own space. Felt makers are saying, you know, we never usually get our own shows. And I'm like, well, okay, now this is the way. You have to start somewhere, and you have to have good images, and you have to submit it places. We want our jurors to see that right alongside tapestries, art quilts, mixed media work, etc., giving them the same value statement. But if they're not there, we can't do that. I want to say that about knot tying and macrame as well. Botanical embroidery, going nuts. People are buying the kit, everything. Well, that could, you know, impact your work in some way. I'm not saying, oh, you have to copy the current Zeitgeist or anything, but certainly if there are ways that it will help engage people. Michelle Sirois Silver and her Hosta series from a few years back, she could revamp that, and that would get even more, now that, you know, Instagram has gone crazy, that would get even more juice than it did before. I'm sure if she thought of that theme again in a new way, she was kind of even before the curve on that. So I think it's okay to be part of the zeitgeist, be part of what's happening now. I'll tell you some of my dreams, some of my plans. People who become a member of the Fiber Art Network, I would like to be sending them more things. I would like to be sending them like free set of note cards with fiber art on it, serving our network members more with always trying to find more benefits and include more fibers, more of the different mediums. We have an exhibition director who works with museums. We have managing editors. We have a magazine, digital and print. And we have sort of submissions all set up and a system to do that. So I feel like there's so much framework there that I would like to do more with more of the fibers. But they have to start getting great images of their work. I'd like to see more of hooked art and other mediums alongside all the other mediums that we already see a lot of. And that's what we should be showing to the world. The internet is everything. I don't know. That's how we grew. Fiber Arts Magazine decided to cease publication. I already had this blog going, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and it was, the community around it was getting excited. And right when that other magazine ceased, I thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We're going to make a magazine. So at first, the magazine itself was more important to me personally. Now the organization as a whole is more important to me, because there are just so many tentacles doing so many different things. The magazine is quarterly, so it's only every 3 months, but it is gorgeous. And especially with our fiber art people, they're like really tactile. So you'd think everyone would be only a digital subscriber. It's cheaper. No, most of them are still getting a magazine in the mail, and they're like smelling the paper and everything. So I love that about our people. At this point, you know, the magazine is just one piece of all of the work we do with our subscribers and members to help share ideas, connect them with each other, all of that. And I think adding more variety into what people see through us, whether they see it in the magazine, whether they see it on Instagram, in an e-newsletter, all the different ways, I really want, that's my wish. As we move ahead now, we're almost a decade old. We have great people. I mean, our team are just out of this world. There's no way. How could we have ever put together people who love this and have such a passion for this if there was no internet? That would not ever even exist. I mean, I live in the state of Massachusetts. It's on the East Coast in the US. There's no way in my suburban town I would have ever found the people who have been with us. I can't tell you really who we have. It's so special. In the very beginning, in I think maybe 2009 or something, or 7, I started a blog because my local quilt show had such a poor website. And you know, when you go and see a show and you want to go back and see the works again, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to post them on this simple blog. And then it just totally took off. And then it was going to be just my little region. Didn't stay that way at all. I was full-time as a director for a publishing firm at that time. And then I would stay up at night and do more posts. And then for my marketing job at this publishing firm, this was back in the day when newsletters were a new thing. I had to make newsletters. I thought, oh, I'll do that. And then that got bigger. We're not a big nonprofit with a board and everything. We just have our team deciding. In our very first issue ever, we did a story on Liz Albert Faye. And I actually went to her studio, which was a few hours away, and brought a photographer with me. And it was such a special experience for me. And I was inexperienced at doing that kind of thing. I just knew that I loved going to artist studios, and the magazine and Fiber Art Network and Fiber Art Now in general really stemmed, the honest to God truth, it stemmed from my secret desire to interview artists and find out about their work. But this became a vehicle for really learning about what they're doing and why. I still feel just the same.
Thanks for watching my video. If you would like to see more, click the subscribe button. If you would like to support making these videos, you can donate via the button on the banner of my YouTube channel. You will also find my social media links there.